Hello and welcome to 6 Degrees of Feature Film. I am the elephant in the room, also known as Brienne, also known as Miss Movies.
And I am a elegantly carved 17th century dildo, also
What?
known as Stacey Howard.
Wait, what? I'm sorry, you lost me.
I was, for some reason, when you get a subject, when you get a subject stuck in your mind.
Okay.
So I was thinking about syphilis, and
How does one just think about syphilis?
I don't know why this came up. But I was thinking about syphilis and I was looking at it, and it was one of those things where it was like 10 Hollywood actors that have played famous people that have died of syphilis or some list. And it
Okay.
was Johnny Depp in The Libertine, that movie he did with
Oh, okay.
Samantha Morton and
Never
Rosalind
saw it.
Pike was his wife. Didn't see it either. Came out like 2004. It was kind of buried. But it's this like long, drawn out, dramatic tale of this poet in the 17th century. But him, along with I think everybody in history, died of syphilis.
Hmm.
And what happens when you have syphilis is like back in the day, because they didn't have penicillin, your nose falls off and like everything rots and you just like fall apart basically. And they used
It's
to
like you're a
wear,
leper.
it's like you're a leper basically, but they used to wear these like fake silver noses. And this is where sunglasses came from, because your eyes became sensitive to the light. And
Okay.
so you'd wear these glasses with tinted lenses to protect yourself. And you could hook a silver nose on there really easily to like show or hide your like disfigured, deformed face. And I was looking up, so I was watching trailers for The
This is
Libertine,
amazing.
and I looked, as I do, with on the trivia for The Libertine. I went on to
Okay.
IMDb, and then
Please tell us. Please tell us.
I saw the this little piece of trivia for The Libertine. 6,890 pounds was spent on vegetable oil based smoke and fog, and 3,672 pounds went into making elegantly carved 17th century dildos. This is the only piece of trivia that matters on IMDb.
Wow.
I don't
Wow.
know. So that's me. I'm an elegantly
Okay.
carved
Okay.
17th
Well,
century dildo.
there it is, everyone.
There it is.
So here's how 6 Degrees, a feature film, works. We take one film and show how 6 other films link up to it in some random way, shape, or form. But today, we're going to be kind of doing a 6 Degrees slash film therapy
Yeah,
crossover episode.
I love it.
Stacey and I have each brought 3 films that we find are therapeutic to us, and we're going to share those with you. So it'll be a little bit different, maybe a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So aside from that, anything else going on with you?
I don't know what's new, Brienne.
Lots of stuff is
So
new.
many
So
things.
many things are
Oh,
new.
a lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened on Friday
Yeah.
that my lawyer has told me not to discuss.
Okay.
So not going to discuss it.
Okay.
So there you
We
go.
can discuss a positive message about it,
We
though.
can.
So if anybody, in the chat or in life ever feels like you're being harassed, abused, intimidated in some form by someone that's more powerful than you, you do have allies on your side that will support you and protect you. So don't feel like you don't have any options, or you feel, it's terrible to feel trapped, and that's a lot of
Right.
stress and anxiety that it can cause someone. So don't feel trapped. You have people that will love and support you. So
This
there
is
you go.
true. I like that. Thank you
Yeah,
for saying that.
you're more than welcome.
One other thing that happened on Friday that doesn't have anything to do with Friday's events
With nothing.
uh, is I saw Blade Runner
Hey,
2049,
I saw it last night.
and I loved it. Did you?
I
How?
loved
What are
it.
your quick thoughts? Jonathan
Mm.
Caro, is that how you say it? Caro was asking if we've seen it,
We have,
or he
John.
just was
We have.
asking you specifically, not me.
I've seen it.
Doesn't care.
He cares about you a lot. I care about you a lot. Yeah, I loved it. Visually stunning. I
Yes.
loved the score. I love the entire tone of the film. I love that Harrison Ford came back. I love the relationship he had with
Hmm.
Ryan Gosling. Even Jared Leto, fucking weird ass, was great in it. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
I loved it too. I love the definitely the visuals. I think that's
Yes.
probably the most stunning, and being able to take a property directed by someone previously and put that into your own vision as well. I know that Ridley Scott produced,
Mm.
but to have Denis Villeneuve like take over and take the helm of it.
He is just one of the great directors working today.
Right.
If you haven't seen Prisoners or Enemy or
Enemy. It's
Arrival,
crazy.
Enemy is awesome.
Sicario? Did he do Sicario?
Sicario, he did.
Guys, sometimes I think I know things and sometimes I
I think
don't
he
know
did.
things.
Ben
He
did.
did.
He did.
Okay, thank
Okay,
Yes.
God.
Sicario. There you go. Oh, I think we're getting a Sicario sequel or prequel,
Right? Something's
right?
happening with
Something
that.
like that. Something with Benicio del Toro's character, which is great because he
Mhm.
was the ultimate star of that film. But what Emily Blunt was like the rock of the film, but
She
he
was-
was like this tricksy little
When you say
cat
the
going
rock,
around.
you mean
The
the rock.
foundation, the rock.
Oh, no.
No,
The
she
rock
was
won't move.
no,
Foundation.
no. She was the foundation of
Okay.
that film, but he
Okay.
was like this little,
Not
this
the
like
Dwayne
wolf.
Johnson of the film.
No,
Okay.
no.
Got it.
I meant like a metaphorical rock, not an actual rock or the
Hmm.
rock.
Ben saw it too.
Ben, what'd you think?
I loved it.
He was trying
I
to stay awake.
yeah, my showing started at 10 p.m. and that was a
Damn,
3-hour long
son.
movie. So there was a good half hour where I was not so much paying attention to the film as willing myself to be awake. So my focus drifted in and out. However, I loved the movie. I was able to pay attention enough during those 30 minutes to understand what's still going on. Visually beautiful. Sound was amazing.
Yes.
The sound is so goddamn good.
Mhm.
Love the story.
Agree.
Great. Not a huge Blade Runner fan. Love 2049. Hot takes.
Thank you. Great hot
Cool,
takes. Great
cool.
hot takes. Let's get into our films.
Okay.
Do we want to go 1-1-1-1?
I think 1-1-1-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
1-1-1-1.
1-1-1-1-1.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, we're doing something a little different today. We're going to be talking about 3 films that personally are therapeutic to us.
Yes.
I'm going to start.
Okay.
So I
Go
did.
for
I
you.
did make notes.
Okay. I
So
didn't do notes.
that's okay because you don't have to.
It's me.
We've talked about pretty much. No, maybe not. Maybe not all of these, but at least 2 of mine. 2 out of the 3, I'm sure we talked about. But it's okay to overlap because it's my show. I've decided I'm just going to do that.
Yeah.
So here we go. I'm going to start with The Sound of Music, which came out March
Oh.
29th, 1965. It's about a woman who leaves an Austrian I keep saying covenant and it's convent.
Convent.
I hate when things happen and I just think of aliens. An
Is that
Austrian-
every moment in life? You're at the dentist. Covenant aliens.
Austrian convent to become a governess to the children of a naval officer widower. This is directed by Robert Wise and written by Ernest Lehman, who did the screenplay, starring Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer in the lead roles. And the music is by Rodgers and Hammerstein. They are pretty famous for movie musicals.
They are.
And yeah, the budget was 8.2 million. It made 286.2 million at the box office. It won 5 Oscars: Best Picture, Best Director, Sound, Film Editing, and Music, which was for score. And it was also nominated for Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress for Peggy Wood, Best
Ooh.
Cinematography, Art and Set Direction, and Costume.
Who was
And,
Peggy Wood in the film? His the countess he was gonna marry? Or whatever?
you know, I have a hard time. Oh no, it's the lead nun.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Because Charmaine Carr is the one who. Oh wait, no, she played Liesel. But yeah, it's the lead nun, from what I
Lead nun.
remember. Sorry,
Okay, gotcha.
you can fact check me on that. Maybe it is the countess or whatever. I
Maybe.
did kind of feel like she kind of got the short end of the stick.
She did, but she.
Like I feel bad for
yeah,
her.
I feel really bad. But that's why I immediately thought, oh, that actress must have won the Oscar for that because her performance is very subtle and she completely understood what was happening. And rather than being the jilted one and saying, and having this happen to her, she was like, you know what? Fine. You want to be in love? Okay. I'm a beautiful,
gonna
rich
leave.
woman. I'm just going to leave and I'm going to end on a high note and I'll go find me another man. And she took it all in stride. She was probably devastated. She probably felt, jilted
Yeah.
and slighted and rejected, but she held her head high. And that's hard to portray on film in a subtle, nuanced way. So there you go. I liked her. I was rooting for the countess the whole time.
Yeah, that's one thing that I go back and watch and think about because I'm like, oh, seeing it through different eyes when you get older and how films kind of change for you. And like when I was younger, I had no idea about typing.
Okay.
and like they're responding to things we're saying. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
There we go. Blame Ben. You know what? I I would,
You
but
know,
it's more my not being fully here.
I mean,
That's okay.
Stacey
We're
did
here.
figure it out.
I mean, I'll,
Ah, shit.
I'll think to hook up the
Guys,
wired
I'm a
connection from now
human
on.
being.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks. Um, so what happened was this. Normally, what I do is I link it to the Ethernet, but I just forgot to do that. So it was on Wi-Fi, and we all know my Wi-Fi sucks.
Yep.
Ooh, spotty
So,
Wi-Fi.
I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm glad that you stayed around.
Ben's
I'm
fault
glad
for
that we're
sure.
back.
Yes, Sam.
You know, I
Um,
came out to have a good time, and I honestly feel so attacked right now.
Was this?
I feel so attacked right now. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, you deserve it.
Let me just give
Okay.
some final thoughts on Sound of Music.
Final thoughts.
I love that it's based on a true story, and that they had apparently like in the movie they made it so they're like hiking over the Alps or whatever, but in
Mhm.
the actual story they just went to like the train station to leave. But they
You're
were
like,
like, that's
"Mm,
not
fine."
dramatic enough.
Yeah, you can't just go to the train station. You can't just go to Amtrak, guys.
So there you
Have you
go.
have you guys read about the real story of it though? So
No.
little okay, so the beginning and all the story of this when they're children is all pretty much true. And then as they got older, Maria became like basically this like horrid stage mom manager and wouldn't let the kids leave and have their own
Oh
lives. They're
no.
like
Because they were
35
famous.
because they were famous and making all this money. So they were like 35 singing in this band with their kids and with their brothers and sisters like, "Yo, I want to get married. I have a boyfriend. Can I like leave?" And she's like, "Fuck no." So she became like a
Maria.
terrible stage mom and like a tyrant.
Mm.
Yeah. So that I don't know. I watched. I can neither confirm nor deny if that's actually true. I feel like I did watch a documentary about it though, so we know that that's 100% accurate. Documentaries watched on Netflix
I
are
need to watch that.
100%
I need to watch that. I
facts.
love that Christopher Plummer hated this production the entire time, called it The Sound of Mucus,
What?
and like just didn't want to be there. Julie Andrews and him do have a good relationship though, but he
Why
was just
didn't he
like,
want to be there
I
though?
don't know. Maybe he doesn't like musicals. I don't know what his deal
Well,
is.
what the? He's in something called The Sound of Music. You think he'd know?
He also like drank a lot on set and like started to gain weight, so they had to like redo his costumes for him. Poor
Christopher
guy.
Plummer.
He was
What
going
is
through.
he
He was
doing?
probably going through something. I do know
Maybe.
that if you go to Austria and you go to the estate, like they've closed down the gazebo so you can just look at it because I guess too many tourists were going in and jumping
Oh,
to bench and like falling
probably.
because that's what you do, right?
That's what I would do.
All right, so that's my first one. That's my first film.
All
That's
right,
therapeutic
cool.
to me. I like to watch it when it's a comfort.
Mhm.
Definitely, because it
Yeah.
reminds me of the times when I was a kid and watching it. And for some reason, it used to be on, I think, around Thanksgiving, between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
I
So I
think
remember
so.
seeing it on TV and watching it with my family. And there you go.
Okay. Mine is going to be Silver Linings Playbook for my first one. I'm sure we've already talked about this on the show,
Maybe.
but for me, it's therapeutic because I always watch it with my family. It's one of our favorite like family movies to watch together. I like that it talks about mental health and mental
Hmm.
illness in a positive light, in a it's okay, your family can help you, you can get your life back on track if you have a good regiment and if you want to be on medication or not.
Hmm.
It talks a lot about how you can have a silver lining and get your life together versus showing how it's going to fall apart. So it's not showing this is a man that's had a mental breakdown, it's this is a man who that happened, but here we are now and this it's going to be okay. So I really
Right.
like that. And the performances are amazing. All the Oscars it got nominated for were incredible and completely deserved. And Robert De Niro is like a great comedic actor. I mean, I know he's done comedic roles before, but he's
Yeah.
hilarious in this and
Yeah.
emotional. And when he like sits down and he's trying to explain to Pat, like, listen, we need to have this relationship. And he has his own, like everyone in the movie has some sort of something going on.
They do.
They do. Yeah. Jennifer Lawrence has a thing going on. Bradley Cooper has something going on. Robert De Niro has an OCD thing going on. Everyone's got something, but it's all
Yeah.
right. So I
Gotta
like that.
hold that like scarf in your hand or
Gotta
whatever.
hold the scarf. He's got the
The
necklace.
handkerchief or
You got the
something.
jersey. And my favorite
Mhm.
scene is, of course, when Jennifer Lawrence bursts in and explains to them all, listen, this is who I am. and he has a lot more luck when he's with me. And she spouts all these facts about all the Philadelphia teams that have been winning since they've done it. And she's trying to convince them. And even though she hates sports and is not into it, she understands that it's important to them. So
Right.
she did all that research and she has worked so hard to come up with this argument to help convince them that she can tell, like, okay, it's not my thing, but it's their thing.
Mm.
So I'm going to do this for them and for Pat.
Did you know Laura in the chat said that Bradley Cooper is a recovering alcoholic in real life?
I did not know that.
I didn't either, Laura. Thank you for
Wow.
educating us.
Has he, thank you, Laura. Did he like, has he talked about that publicly? I'm assuming. And like, that's how we know? Like, is there interviews I can read?
I would
or-
guess.
Okay. All right.
I mean, Laura, how do you know?
Laura,
Tell us.
how do you know?
Cite
How
your
do
source.
you know?
I'm just joking.
Receipts,
We want to know.
receipts.
But yeah, I like Silver Linings Playbook. I like that there's the dance component. It could maybe it skates the line of being a dance movie.
Maybe.
It skates the line. But I find that Jennifer Lawrence's character reminds me a lot of my sister. My sister is a lot like her, a mix between her and Rachel getting married, Anne Hathaway's character.
Wow.
It's like the two of them together as one person would be my
That's
sister.
a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
So are you like the Julia Stiles character of the family? The one that has it all together and wants everyone to have it?
That is my other sister. I have
Ah.
two sisters, both
That's
older
right.
than me.
That's right.
Yes.
So who are you then?
I don't know.
Robert De Niro?
Chris Tucker?
Chris Tucker. If you're Chris Tucker, that's great because I am so glad he and Julia Stiles both had a little comeback in this movie
That
and
is
they
true.
rocked it.
That is true.
And I was like, where's Chris Tucker been this whole time? He is hilarious. And the whole movie is just feel good and cute. There's dramatic, emotional scenes that are happening, but you never feel weighed down by it. It is an
Got it.
uplifting film about family and overcoming obstacles and having your mental health for yourself. And everybody has to do something different to feel good. So that's why I
Laura
like it.
said that he revealed that on the Chelsea Handler show.
Oh,
that
okay.
he-
I'm gonna need to watch that actually.
Yeah.
I'm very curious.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
I'm going to
Laura.
look that up as well.
Okay. All right.
Anything else you want to say about Silver Linings Playbook?
Nope.
Okay.
It's a feel good movie. What's your second?
All right, my second
therapeutic
one
film
is
those
Big
names down.
Fish. Big Fish,
Ah,
which came out January 9th, 2004, and is about a frustrated son who tries to determine fact from fiction in his dying father's life. So that kind of was worded weird. I apologize. Directed by Tim Burton. The screenplay was by John August and based on the novel Big Fish, a novel of mythic proportions by Daniel Wallace. This was nominated for Best Music for Original Score and by Danny Elfman, I'm assuming. And it is starring Ewan McGregor, Albert Finney, Billy Crudup, Jessica Lange, Helena Bonham Carter, Marion Cotillard. Marion Cotillard, this was her first film in the United States,
in
for the US.
what did she play again?
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
I love when that happens and I'm like, wasn't she
Was she one of the?
I'm
Not
feeling
actresses
like
in
maybe she was the wife of Billy Crudup, but maybe not. Danny DeVito, Steve Buscemi, Allison Lohman. Allison Lohman, I felt like we were thinking that she was going to kind of be a big thing for a while, and then she just kind of fizzled. And
I don't know where
I felt
she
sad for
is.
her because she's a good actress.
She is. I liked her. And you mean the one from White Oleander, right?
Yes.
Okay. And she was also in like Drag Me to Hell.
Yes.
And she's
correct.
she has an unusual.
Yes. Janine says the son's Prego wife. So I was right.
Oh, right.
So
Okay,
Billy
okay,
Crudup's
okay.
wife
Gotcha.
is Marion Cotillard.
Gotcha.
The budget was 70 million, made 122.9 million at the box office. And the reason they cast Ewan McGregor as young Ed Bloom is because they saw pictures of Albert Finney when he was like about that age, and they thought Ewan McGregor looks exactly like Albert Finney did. And I thought that's kind of fun.
I need to look up pictures of young Albert Finney. For some reason, I was thinking it was Brian Cox that plays.
You know, I could see them.
They're-
I could see them getting
They're
mixed up.
interchangeable men. I
They
feel
are.
Like.
They
I
are.
mean, not in
I
spirit, I'm
can't
sure.
imagine Brian Cox though as Daddy Warbucks. That just doesn't. I
Oh,
don't know.
that's weird. That's super weird.
I'm not sure if I can imagine him bald. Um, apparently, Marion Cotillard would sleep with the script under her pillow because she wanted to do the movie so much, and she wasn't cast at the time, but like
She
felt
was like,
feeling that that was like good vibes.
through
If I
osmosis,
love
she
this,
would get
I
the
love
part.
this, I love this movie. Please give me this
Give
part, and
it.
she
If
got the
that
part.
works, then let's all sleep with like a couple of dollar bills under a pillow. Please give me money.
And the other thing I wanted to say is Steven Spielberg was attached to direct and wanted Jack Nicholson to star, but dropped out because he had too many other things going on, and that's when Tim Burton came on. Apparently, Miley Cyrus has a small role as one of Edward's childhood friendship childhood friendship group. I don't know what that means. I don't
His
know. I
little
guess
friend
Miley
group, I guess.
Cyrus is in there. So good on you, girl. But Big Fish is something that is therapeutic in the way that it reminds me of, and I've said this before on film therapy, it reminds me of a friend of mine named Andrew who, at the time of seeing it, this was the last film that I saw with him. He is my husband, one of my husband's best friends. And we saw this in the theater, and at the time it was hard because this was kind of not that he tells like crazy stories, but he
Mhm.
was dying of cancer.
Mhm.
So to see it on screen is kind of hard when you're going through it.
Mhm.
And I just thought like what how is he taking this right
Yeah.
now? Like is he
How
seeing
how
himself
did
on
he take
screen?
it?
I know that he liked the film, but I don't know. I didn't see him like cry or anything like that. I feel
Mhm.
like maybe that may have come later, like thinking
Right.
about it later, holding it in because you don't necessarily want to.
Don't want to like make a scene
Yes,
or have an emotional moment
right. So
in
I
public.
associate that movie with my good memories of Andrew. Like I will always remember seeing that movie with him, but then
Mhm.
I'll also remember other experiences that I've had with him too. So
Nice. That's good.
so rest in peace, Andrew.
R.I.P. Andrew. That's
There you
sad.
go.
Okay.
So I talked about Sound of Music
Mhm.
and Big Fish. Those are my
Okay.
two so far.
I first talked about Silver Linings Playbook, and I am now going to talk about everyone's favorite period piece from 1999, Shakespeare in
Oh.
Love. I first saw this, I think I was like 15 or 16, and I had just gotten to the point where I love period pieces. That's probably one of my favorite genres. I mean, I just
Mhm.
talked about The Libertine for 15 minutes in this introduction, and I've never even seen it. But this, The Duchess, Pride and Prejudice, Emma, all these just great like period pieces
Mhm.
of anything before. I don't like movies like set in the 50s. I mean like 1800s and before.
Yeah.
I love
Okay.
those kinds of films. So this was one of those movies where yes, it's a period piece and it could be um ostracizing, or it could be like could have like just a few people that like, oh, I like period pieces, like a Shakespeare thing, okay, but then this was like universally accepted as like, oh, that movie is good, that's fun.
Yeah.
Because it shows a story for those who haven't seen it, shows a story of Shakespeare's relationship and what inspired Romeo and Juliet, and it put it, and now this, I highly doubt that any of this actually happened, but it puts it in a way where you're like, okay, that makes
The
sense. The
inspirations. I want to
inspiration.
ask you,
Hmm.
have you seen a short film called George Lucas in Love?
No, what's that?
Okay. Everyone needs to look this up.
Mm.
It might be on YouTube. It might be on how do you say that? Venmo?
Vimeo?
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 I'm not sure. George Lucas in Love is a parody off of Shakespeare in Love, and it shows
Mm.
like how he created Star Wars, and it's the
Oh,
cutest thing. It's maybe like a
oh,
5 to 7 minute short
oh,
film,
that's
and
cute. I'd watch
it was
that.
a film that was made at USC by USC students, like, and it's
Nice.
really well done.
That's really
I
cool.
highly recommend it. Continue on Shakespeare in Love.
But why did they pick George Lucas for that inspiration?
Probably because they're USC students, and George Lucas is like a big name over there.
Props.
Also, it's Star Wars.
Yeah,
I guess
Star
so.
Wars.
Yeah, you could consider
Star Wars is the
Wars as the
Shakespeare of our
Shakespeare of our
time.
time.
Ah!
I mean, kind of.
Yeah, that's true. If you think of any work that has been the most influential, talked about, parodied, looked over, it's probably Star
And
Wars.
I mean, at its core, it's a family tragedy.
This is true. It's a space opera.
Yep.
there you go. I love that there's little moments that hint to what we as society and historians know about Shakespeare, but they are taking a lot of liberties.
Mhm.
And so when he talks about, like when you see him in the therapist office and he goes, your relations in the marriage bed, and he's like, oh, on my mother's side twice removed, because he like married his second cousin or whatever, and which is true, that's a fact. And how he has like his little skull that he puts his pens in, which is just like
Uh-huh.
Hamlet with the skull. And how, you know, Viola is supposed to be the inspiration for Twelfth Night, which is of course the next play he did after Romeo and Juliet. So it's all these
Mhm.
little moments that we know about, but they're just taking a dramatic, you know, um to taking facts into their own hands and saying, well, this is how we think that might have been inspired. So I
Right.
really like that. And it's just feel good. Jeffrey Rosh is great in it, really funny. Tom Wilkinson is hilarious. All the side characters, Ben Affleck is like a Shakespearean actor in this movie. That's
I don't even
hilarious to
remember
me.
that.
He is in it, and he was dating Gwyneth at the time. So I
Mm.
think that's why they cast him. But honestly, I think he did a funny job. He wasn't like great. He wasn't like, oh yeah, that's someone who would have been an actor in
Yeah.
Elizabethan times.
Yeah.
No way. He's Ben Affleck in it. But because it's Ben Affleck, and it adds like a humor to it. And then there's a moment when he's supposed to be like this big-headed actor that comes in, and all of his moments are really funny, but then he's like, he dies, what? Like, I would never play a character that dies. And his accent is funny. The whole thing is just like, it's a big hot mess, but
I
I
need
love
to
it.
rewatch. I need to rewatch because I don't remember enough about it. You know.
Hmm.
Mm.
And Dame Judy Dench won her only Oscar, I believe, for this movie.
Really?
Her very short amount of time on screen
It's the
as
most
Queen Elizabeth
ridiculous.
I. I know.
But she deserves an Oscar.
She does
Just
deserve
in
an Oscar.
general.
So
In
we
general.
just gave it to her. Just take it. You're on screen for like 15 minutes. Take it.
We're like, we don't know how much longer. I mean, maybe I should. So we don't know how much more time we have to
Yeah.
give you this.
Yeah. I
Let's just
did
do it
have
now.
my favorite moment, and there's a lot of favorite moments in this, but especially of Judy Dench's, is when they she comes and she everyone's attending that final performance, or the first
Mm-hmm.
performance for them, right? And then the queen interrupts after everything is done, and basically the lawman is trying to out her and say this is a woman, and then she's like, you know what, I know something about being a woman in a man's profession. By God, I know something about that. So we're going to let this slide. Whatever. It happened. She was great. Let's all just let this go. We're not going to persecute them. So I love that line. I know something of a woman in a man's profession. Cuz I
Yes.
can't even imagine being a queen back then, when women
No.
are internationally seen as property. And then she's like, "Fuck that. I'm a queen for like 60 years and I'm going to rock it." She did.
I love what's going on in the chat with the Shakespeare, the modern Shakespeare is Fast and Furious franchise. You guys are great. You guys are great. Thank you so much for the
Shakespeare Fast and
laughs.
Furious.
I appreciate that. There was some hear he. I declare we are all family or something like that.
Is
That I
The
saw.
Rock King Lear? I don't
Oh,
know.
oh, okay. So, all right. Anything else you wanted to say before we move on?
No.
Okay, so you did Silver Linings Playbook and Shakespeare in Love. And so far, I have done Sound of Music and Big Fish. I'm moving on to my third one, probably my favorite one, actually.
Ooh. I think I know which one
Okay,
this is.
tell me.
Is it Dirty Dancing?
Yes,
Yeah, I knew
it
it. I
is.
knew it.
It is. Okay,
Dom is
because
Hamlet. Thank you, Becca. Yes, Dom is totes Hamlet.
I love it. Dirty Dancing came out August 21st, 1987. So, spending the summer in a holiday camp with her family, Frances Baby Houseman falls in love with the camp's dance instructor, Johnny Castle. And seriously, who wouldn't? I don't know. But starring Jennifer Grey, Patrick Swayze, Jerry Orbach, Cynthia Rhodes, Jack Weston, directed by Emil Ardolino and written by Eleanor Bergstein. I believe Eleanor, it's like her memoir, kind of loosely based on events of her life. It won an Oscar for I Had the Time of My Life. The box office got 214 million and it cost 6 million to make. So quite a profit there. I do remember seeing it way too young and not understanding the themes, and then watching it later when I was like in high school and loving it. So I do remember this from mainly from high school. This unfortunately is a movie that my husband hates. And that's because like
Jeff.
it reminds him of an ex-girlfriend who loved it and would watch it all the time. And so
Mm.
he's like, I don't want to remember her. And so I can never watch it in his presence.
He dated someone before you?
What? Oh
What?
my gosh.
Not allowed.
I did not watch the ABC remake, Becca, mainly because I was more horrified by that concept, and I think it was live too. I can't. I don't know if I could necessarily watch anything that is Dirty Dancing that is not the original. It's like I'd never watched Havana Nights either.
I did watch Havana.
Okay, I just am like I can't do it. I can't. I
There's
don't I there's a musical too, and I just don't think I could go to the musical either. It's one of those things that's weird for me that I feel needs to just be what it is.
and I think it's because the whole thing about Dirty Dancing is it's not the best parts of it aren't necessarily the dancing. The best parts of it aren't necessarily the whole
Mhm.
it's all about the relationship and the small moments that they have together and a very genuine affection for each other, and they have great chemistry, and that's what it is for the movie. So you can't
Right.
replicate that with anyone else because it's not the same two people and it's not the same time. So yeah,
Yeah, I don't
it
know.
stands on its own.
Does stand on its own. The line "Nobody puts baby in a corner" was voted as number 98 of the American Film Institute out of 100. I'm surprised it's not a little bit higher, but I haven't looked at the list of like AFI's like top 100 quotes. So at least it's on there. At least it's
Oh,
recognized.
oh, there you go.
And yes, Val Kilmer was initially offered the lead role, but declined.
I cannot picture Val Kilmer in this.
I
He has
don't
too
know if he
much of an ego.
dances.
I don't know. I
I
can't
don't know
picture
if he
him dancing
dances. You
now.
need a dancer, and that's why Patrick Swayze is perfect for this
Yeah,
because he is a dancer.
yeah. Didn't
There you
his
go.
mom own a studio, and that's how he
Yes.
met his wife because his wife was a teacher there or a
Mm-hmm,
dancer?
mm-hmm.
I love
All
that.
these things.
I love it.
All
It
the
all lined up
connections.
perfectly.
And lining up perfectly is let's see, this doesn't line up perfectly, but that's the only segue I could come up with. I am not talking about it today, but I've talked about it plenty of times. But Tangled is another one. So that's a shout out to Tangled. I have this
Nice.
book that's The Art of Tangled, which
Ooh,
I found on the Disney cruise, but I decided not to buy it there because it was way cheaper on Amazon.
there you go.
So there you have it. I'm
Now,
glad I
did
got this book.
you spend your money on Wi-Fi to research if it was cheaper on Amazon
I
at
had
that
already
moment?
had like a
Oh, you're
package. I had a
oh,
Wi-Fi
gotcha,
package.
gotcha.
It's
Okay, okay.
expensive to buy Wi-Fi
It
on a
is.
ship.
It's like $60 a day, right?
Something.
Something like that.
Yeah. So there
Dang.
you go. I recommend this book for anyone that loves Tangled. Tangled's my favorite animated Disney film, and
There you go.
Rapunzel's my favorite princess.
Nice.
There you have it. So I talked about
Nice.
The Sound of Music, Big Fish, and Dirty Dancing.
With Tangled as an honorable mention.
Yeah, Tangled is an honorable mention.
My third one is again probably also probably my favorite.
Mhm.
Pride and Prejudice from
Oh yes.
2004, the Keira Knightley version. This movie, again, I love period pieces.
I was like, wait.
I
So we
love
had
Keira
Shakespeare
Knightley.
in Love. Okay, the
Mhm.
only one that wasn't period piece was Silver Linings.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
I feel like I've only seen this one once, the Pride and Prejudice one with Keira Knightley.
I love it so much. I love now. This introduced me to Rosamund Pike, who everyone now loves from being,
Gone Girl.
Gone Girl. Huge, huge coverage from that. But I loved the authenticity of the family relationships. Now the actors themselves, it's five daughters that are in the family.
Hmm.
Um, and the mom and the dad, Donald Sutherland, and I forgot the English actor's name that plays mom. I apologize. They all lived in the house together for like a week before they started filming. So they would play hide and seek to get to know the layout of the house. They'd play
Okay.
games together. They would eat together, and they just really got to know each other as a family. So when you see the opening scene and it's all of them just kind of having their little daily routines, it makes me think of what was it like to live back then? How did families live together? You see the close
Hmm.
relationship that sisters have, especially because back in the day, not everyone had their own room. They certainly didn't have their own bed. So sister would like sleep together, even when they were in
Hmm.
their like 20s. That was not unusual to just be like really close. And so they were probably your best friend, your confidant, everything, all your hopes and dreams you shared with each other because you like literally slept like 2 inches from each other.
Yeah.
So I liked that, and I liked seeing the struggles that they go through with the difference in class and how I can't marry this woman because she's below me and my family will hate it.
So crazy.
Super
So
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. So I love this film. I love this adaptation of it. There's a bunch of other different ones. One with
Who's
Colin Firth,
Yeah, I was gonna say, who's Mr. Darcy in this one?
Matthew something.
Modine.
Matthew Modine? No. Matthew something, and he's been in a few other films like Frost Nixon.
Oh, Sheen. Michael Sheen?
No,
Matthew
Oh.
McFadden.
McFadden, sure.
Okay.
But this is the only like main movie that I've seen him in, and I've seen him in other smaller parts. But I think he's like a British. He's mainly just done British films and like TV shows and stuff like that. He hasn't really done another big American movie. So
Got it.
yeah, Donald Sutherland, who is normally very creepy, is very sweet and genuine as the father. I loved all so you see all the girls' relationships with each other and also with men, and how that was just the main thing you did back then. Was it's
Yeah.
just like getting a good job now is, can I get a good match for marriage? That was the same, that was, you know, what was equivalent back then. So all the interviews you have to go on, aka dance with a man, be introduced during, you know, with the proper channels and everything. It was, you see all those little inner workings. So I like that reveal of what it was like to live back then, that they did a really good job. And yeah,
What is the name of Keira Knightley's character? Why do I always
Elizabeth
forget
Bennet.
this?
Have
Thank
you seen the Lizzie Bennet Diaries?
No, what's that?
It is a web series version of Pride and Prejudice that is set in the modern time, and it's basically through the frame of Elizabeth or Lizzie Bennet as a vlogger who is like doing this vlog series as part of her graduate school program.
Mhm.
So then it just goes through the story of Pride and Prejudice
Oh,
in modern
cool.
times, and it's really good. And it won like a bunch of
Nice.
awards and got spin-offs, and it's
Whoa.
100 episodes, and it's
Tell
great.
us again what it's called.
The
100
Lizzie Bennet
episodes.
Diaries.
The
Damn.
Lizzie Bennet
It's all on
Diaries.
YouTube.
On
Cool.
I think
YouTube.
Kate Green helped produce it.
Nice. I love that. I
Thank
love
you,
when
Ben.
people take old works and make it their own for a modern story. I think that that's cool.
Sam says, this isn't about you, Ben.
Yeah, Ben.
I just want people to know about the Lizzie Bennet Diaries.
Okay.
Okay.
It's
Thank
good.
you.
And then there's
Thank you, Ben.
also there's like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Yeah,
And
there is.
There's many
There's
series.
other things.
There's all kinds of things. So
Becca
yeah, there you go.
Eichelberger says
I love it.
Lizzie Bennet Diaries is so incredible. So,
Yeah.
you know, I have
I
support.
I didn't do any Kevin Bacon because it's kind of open.
Yeah. We didn't really even know we didn't have a feature film. So.
We did not.
No.
Therefore, no Rocky.
No
Is
Rocky.
there no Rocky today?
There's no Rocky.
Oh my gosh!
It's one of those days. Today is a day of
a day off, a day of rest.
A day off, a day of rest. It's a
And
day
my
of
leggings are
casual
shining.
conversation.
Thank you for noticing. I think it was Janine. But they are shining.
Yeah.
So I talked about The Sound of Music, Big Fish, and Dirty Dancing, and Stacy went over.
I talked about Silver Linings Playbook, Shakespeare in Love, and Pride and Prejudice.
Excellent.
I don't know why I'm sitting here with my arm like this.
I'll do it too. We can be twins.
Hey, wait. We got to do opposite though. You do the other arm.
Oh,
So that it arches out. There you go.
guys, I've been working out, guys. Anyways, yeah, we could do Nobody Puts Baby in a Corner as Rocky.
Nobody puts baby in a car.
Hey, yo!
Yo! Yeah, there you go.
Very nice.
Yeah, thanks.
Stacy, where can we find you?
You can find me all the time on Twitter and Instagram at Stacey O Howard. And we have, we've got a little Facebook thing? No?
Oh yeah, there's a Facebook group called Misfit Maniacs. Misfit with 2 S's in the middle.
Hey.
Come join us there because you know that is kind of about the Schmodown Misfits. Stacy and I competing.
Yeah.
You're coming up on Tuesday facing Mark Ellis. I got
am.
Friday against Clark Wolf. So you'll see those.
Coming
And
up.
tomorrow I'm going to be on Inside Schmodown.
Cool.
I feel like they asked me because Clark wasn't available.
We are always the backups every time.
Always a bridesmaid.
Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. You know what though? Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Because we always show up. We always bring it.
That's
we
right.
always have a good time and bring a good performance and bring energy and fun. And who cares if we weren't first choice? I'm never anyone's first choice, but I'm the best choice.
That's right.
yeah.
That's right. You can find me all day, every day on Twitter at Miss Movies. We will see you next time.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.